What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? That's not the right button. Let's see if sound's working. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, little frazzled. That's just how I get with this, especially after the start of last time. So once again, we are here for another episode of Let the World Burn Away, a Lancer actual play. Cool. That's good to hear, Zev. Once again, I am Ryan. I am a game master. I am basically the person running 5 Foot Square at the moment, though I do get assistance from time to time. And with me this evening, I have Ender, who is playing Simon. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Simon.
Okay. Do you want to talk about yourself for a little bit before we get going?
Yeah, I'm Ender. I'll be playing Simon Ibanez of from the House of Thorns in the Kakaris Baronies. Ender Melchior on Twitter. I think that's really it. Also on Instagram, but that's just food pictures, really.
All those are the best kind of pictures.
Food pictures, and then vacation stuff. But other than that, I haven't been super active on. I think my last post was my mandatory I voted picture.
Okay, so I'm just seeing the occasional little bit of technical difficulties we're both experiencing. I'm having trouble getting people to get us to the right screen on the map program. You should now be seeing the screen with your token, correct? On it, I think.
I do, yes. The
Okay.
map tool. I don't see it on.
No, it shouldn't be on the stream yet. Just you should have it so that you can.
Okay.
If you for the tokens. I'm just going to, in my rush to get us going, I did not, I need to buffer out chat on here a little bit, because it doesn't fit on this screen. There we go. All right, so it's buffered out now, so all the new roles will show up on the chats on the screen. So yeah, this is episode 2. Let me just go over quickly what happened last time with Zev. Mac was picked up by the Sunjammer after an incident where a star became unstable, and he had a little bit of an issue. I don't think we've gone into too much what that issue is yet, so we'll wait and see if that comes up later in play. But he received some injuries during that, and he was nursed back to health by the Sunjammer. And knowing that he had nowhere else to go, actually decided to go through. Excuse me. And they were hired for a mission to recover the governor's daughter, Anna Kendall. They sortied against a, let's say, a resistance movement called the Necrocertes, and recovered the girl and brought her back to the Sunjammer. And upon doing so, opened the crate. She was the sleeping chamber she was in, and she refused to go back to her father. And the one thing we didn't actually see on stream is a choice that was made afterwards, was that Captain Paul decided to not send the girl back to her father. I'm sure that won't have any negative repercussions in any way, shape, or form going forward. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, some other stuff is happening elsewhere in the galaxy. For us now, here in the second episode, the year is 5012 of the Union era. This is 3 years after the exploits of Mac and Marcus. Over 400 years ago, the tyrannical Second Committee government of Union collapsed, replaced with a more utopian-minded Third Committee. While the enlightenment of Third Com has reached many places in the galaxy, some corners are still hiding the dark remains of Secom's thinking. One such place is the Okuda Cluster. A rarity in the vastness of the universe, the Okuda Cluster is a series of a half-dozen solar systems unusually close to one another. Even with the fall of Secom, the government of the cluster still clings to the ways of totalitarianism as the people suffer. But in the cracks of the broken system lies chances for those who are willing to take them. One such group is, of course, the Golden Star Company. Led by Captain Emin Call from the retired military vessel Sunjammer, the Golden Star does what they can to survive. Somewhere just outside of the Okuda Cluster, though, a young scion of Simon Ibanez has received word of an ancient cache of technology and undertakes a trip to the Rainier Blink Gate in pursuit of further information. That. And has Simone ever been this far out from Cradle before, or from the Baronies at that fact?
I'm gonna say Simone has been well traveled, but he hasn't gone out this far. He's usually been involved with. He has done some relativistic travel, and some Blink Gate, but this is probably the furthest he's been out.
I just gotta turn you down just a little because you're peeking red. Which is fine. I just have to adjust audio on the fly. Okay. So he hasn't been out to the Cascade Line before, so this is definitely his first time on Rainier Blink Station, and Blink Gate. And the reason, of course, that he's out here is that he's received some word about ancient technology that may or may not predate Union. Word of this has gone out through some of the quieter channels, especially ones that Simone might happen to hear at. Given he seems to have a bit of an interest in Union tech, artificial intelligence, NHP, the fun things. And this word that's gone out is that there was a cache found in the Okuda cluster that may or may not have originated from one of the 10 colony ships sent out from Earth Cradle before fall of humanity, and that eventually led to the rise of Union. How many times has Simone been to a blink gate in general? Not, been through it or been on one of the stations?
I would say this is probably the 5th trip out. So while he's not, fresh green, has never done it, still makes him nervous every time to jump through because it's relativistic travel. Time kind of flows similar for you. It's speeding up away. So the more you travel, the less likely you'll see what home was or is.
Okay.
So there's still that sense of excitement every time he goes through a gate.
Okay. So, just hop over here. I get the right one. I actually have some bit of. Gotta find it. Because it's this one. Yeah. So the ship you're aboard, it's a smaller vessel. Probably belonged to your house or was easily procured because of your noble status. And you found room to dock it at the blink gate to... Oh, one moment. I suppose if I have the music, I should have the right setup on the stream. You find the blink gate, you dock your ship, and basically step out into the common area portion of it where travelers waiting for their ships to go through will wait and trade. And it's a mass of people, probably not like you've seen before. My understanding is Simone's probably more used to places where he would have a little bit more room to breathe and he wouldn't have people constantly pressing against him.
Yeah, it's definitely much more cosmopolitan outlook where it's, got space, people leave you alone, you walk through, you're used to that first class lounge versus the teeming masses of humanity.
Yeah, and here on Rainier Blinkgate, it is the complete opposite of that. Simone has to push his way through, and the whole reason you stop here instead of just moving on is there's an information broker who has promised that he will be able to get you information, but it's come at a bit of a cost. You've had to acquire some rarities from the trade baronies that will probably have to be exchanged for a little bit of information. And can you please give me? Let's see what you got for your. Can you give me a roll with a difficulty of 10, target number of 10? Sorry. No accuracy, no difficulty. To try to navigate through this press of people to find the person you're looking for. And
so with this, would this be a situation where reading the situation would come into play as I'm trying to just gauge, where people are coming and going from?
Yep, I'd say it'll work, so you can use that.
All right, so that gives me a +2 at this point.
Yeah, if you just click that button, read the situation. It'll ask you to put in the number of accuracy, the number of difficulty, and the target number, and it will do all the rest for you.
All right, so the value for accuracy just 2 there.
Yeah, just flat 0. That's the extra dice that it will roll.
That's right.
Yeah.
Difficulty of 10.
Yes. And if you
hit 8 on the value for target number.
Okay.
Accounting.
All right. Oh. Okay. So okay, so try that again. First one is it should pop up a box,
Zero.
put 0 in the first box, 0 in the second
That
box.
there it is.
Yeah. Because the first box is how many accuracies, second box is how many difficulty, I think it is. And then the third box is your target number.
So target number is 10. I see we're adding my +2 from the.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go with that one. So yeah.
All right, we could roll.
So yeah, we'll go with that. So you got an 11, so it's enough. It's hard to navigate this. It takes you some time, but less time than it would have taken. And you kind of recognize the rougher areas that it's probably better for someone of your station to avoid. You look maybe a little bit too clean and prim and proper to be going to some of these places. And through asking the right people, you manage to find your way to a small restaurant. It's rather dingy, and going inside, there's one or two people sitting. They're eating something that you can't quite identify, but the smell is very pungent. And as you enter, an old man sitting behind the counter looks up and goes, "What are you ordering?"
Well, what do the locals eat when they come here?
All the locals, they know a bit better to come here. You're not from around to these parts, are you, kid?
I don't know about kid, but you're right. I'm not from here. I'm looking for someone.
Oh, isn't everybody?
I suppose, but someone who might have heard some things about some stuff that was old, real old.
Oh, you're one of them boys. Just a second. And he gets up and he lumbers towards the back and disappears behind like a beaded curtain that splits off the kitchen and whatever else happens to be behind. And you're forced to wait a minute, and everybody's just kind of staring at you, and you're definitely feeling a little out of place at the moment. He comes back a moment. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. He comes back a moment later, and he looks you over and goes, "You brought payment, right?"
Brought payment that not everyone else can bring. Got information.
Well, what do you got? That'll depend on how much you're able to buy.
Well, I'm a scion from the baronies, and controlling trade is what we do here. I'm sure you'd like a little leg up. I know deep in Union, there's not much use for mana, but out here, knowing when to cut a deal and maybe have a little inside edge could definitely give you a leg up.
Keep talking, boy.
I want to say at this point, it's more of the character knows more about the information than the player does.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So.
So giving relevant info to.
Can you just give me like a rough, just like a talk sort of a bet, like not specifically what the information is, but what kind of value you think it might have?
Basically, I'm thinking the kind of value is it's when certain resources will be sent through that are a little more scarce. That would help drive some prices up and drive some demand to make know the kind of information where if you know that we're essentially talking insider trading here.
Mm-hmm.
You know when to buy and when to sell to come out ahead of the situation.
Okay. The old man looks at you and he smiles. So he's missing a couple teeth, and he says, "All right. So here's the deal. I've got information about a pre-mill site at the edge of the Akuta Prime system. See, my understanding is there's an old colony from the Amaterasu out there, and there's an archaeology team that have been digging. Seems, from what I've seen passing through here, they've been pulling up some interesting old things. Even from what I'm hearing, maybe some old, some pre-Union artificial intelligence.
That I'm very interested in. You're you're really speaking my language.
Yeah, come to the right place then, because I can provide you information and clearance codes to get you to the site.
I'll happily take those off your hand. You haven't happened to already give that information out to anyone before me, have you?
He smiles and says, "Well, you know, some information like this, price isn't cheap. Not many that can afford that out these parts."
You cut out?
What was that? Sorry.
Okay, I thought you cut out there. I was like, all of a sudden, all the sound went dead.
Oh, sorry. I might hit the table.
Well, I'm glad I came with information in tow. Kind of limits the options of who might have beaten me there, so I guess I better make a double time.
He smiles and pulls out a little reader, basically like a portable computer, and the little device that you have chimes as well, waiting for a connection. So how about this? I transfer you the information, you transfer me your information. We're all even. We walk away. You were never here. You never saw me. Sounds good, right?
Sounds perfect.
And he initiates from his end and waits to see if and waits to see the transfer coming from yours.
I pass on over without any fuss or muss.
And the data change passes over correctly. And he opens the stuff up on his side and starts looking at it. Would you like to stick around, or are you going to check out the information, or maybe just this is a good time to hang out on the station first?
I think it would be rude to try to verify the information in front of him. I think, making the deal in good faith, I'll go ahead and leave his presence, and once I'm out of his eye shot, then I'll start looking at the info.
And you hear a loud, as you step away, you hear from behind the restaurant behind you a loud shout, "Hey, this is all out of date."
I mean, relativistic travel's relativistic travel. I'm a little surprised that it's that out of date, though.
Well, it happens. You sometimes you travel, and you're not quite sure how much time has passed in the actual world, especially if you're you go some distances. Are you going to try and hang around, or disappear into the crowd before he...
At this point, I think it's best to skedaddle before it gets too loud in here.
All right. So can you give me another roll here? Let's... I mean, in theory, you're the one who should be saying when you need to roll, but can you throw me just a default roll?
I'm not seeing any of my...
What was that?
Yeah, I'm seeing. I don't think any of my skills.
Yeah, probably just a
You know?
default roll with trying to escape or something. That's what you're attempting to do.
Yeah.
And actually, take an accuracy on
Am I
that
looking at
because there's a crowd of people.
Accuracy.
So
Any difficulty?
no,
And then target of 10.
yeah, target 10. Okay, that's just barely, but you managed to slip away into the crowd and make your way distant from it, from the restaurant. As you start to get further away, you slow down a little bit and take a look at the information, and it does appear he was telling the truth. At least the information that he said he has is what he transferred to you. It is a planet location in a solar system called Akuta Prime. You've never heard of it before, but I'm sure you can probably pull the information up from your computers, and if not, you'll be able to pull it off the OmniNet easily enough. There's an old dig site there that is being run by an independent company, and you have not activation codes, but approach codes to be able to get there. Whether or not they'll actually work, you'll have to find out. But as far as you can tell on a quick glance at them, they look to be legit.
I'm sure I can talk my way through if there's any irregularities as well, so I'm not too terribly worried.
Okay. So, from what you're able to tell, if you hop on your ship and hit your near light speeds, for you it'll be a couple weeks. In the real world, it'll be probably a little bit longer than that. But
yeah, not too far. Should be.
Yeah. So, your choices at this point kind of run along the lines of either you go there, you can go to the ship, head straight out, do a little bit of prep. Not sure if there's anything you want to pick up in particular.
No, I'm feeling pretty confident between.
Feeling confident that you can make either cover or you make your way in or whatever. Sorry, let me just sit up a little bit.
I'm feeling very confident.
This chair is very low to the ground, and I do not like it. Okay. So you head back to your ship. Can you give me another quick reading the situation, just to make sure you're not wandering off into any particular areas of the ship that's not the ship, the station, that aren't so nice. No accuracy, no difficulty, just a straight target of 10. Oh, well, that was easy enough. No trouble whatsoever. You basically backtrack your exact steps, except, of course, you avoid the little restaurant where clearly somebody's angry at you, and you'll probably never be welcome again. Likely nobody of your house will ever be welcome there again. Because I'm assuming that kind of information was attached to the where the information originated was probably attached to the files at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make your way back to the ship. You request clearance to depart, and granted, without a problem. Your computer actually doesn't have the location for the Akuta cluster. Strangely enough, it's when you pull it off the OmniNet, it's marked as being outside Union territory. Oh, not outside Union territory, but outside Third Com territory, anyway. And it's marked as there's a warning to any who would travel there that it is an unstable region that perhaps tourists might want to avoid. But of course, you're no tourist.
No, they don't just hand GMS Everests to anyone.
not just anybody.
Yeah, they don't just give these away.
Let's all right, so as you load up your ship. You set off at near light speeds, heading across the stars. And you settle in for a reasonably long trip, though you've got ways to keep yourself entertained. What does Simone do for entertainment on these very, very long voyages?
At this point, when it's very long, it's working on the servant fragment that I've been putting together within Titty so far, it's only just the beginnings that seem to have some awareness of what's going on. It can take over the mech when I'm not in there, but it hasn't chosen a name yet.
Okay. So
But that seems.
This is probably the first
Yeah,
time you've booted it up fully enough and let it run in the mech.
Yeah, so it's running in the background. I know. So the way I've installed it though is it's essentially created a dummy plug system. So deep in the core of TD is this server that handles the NHP itself. It's more processing power than standard operating system within the Everest itself. So a lot of processing power is given over to it, the reactor power, but it's fully integrated into the Nexus system of my mech to draw from these smaller drones within. So it's starting to learn. It's starting to recognize its own body, essentially.
Okay. And has it developed any sort of personality yet? Or how does
Not
it act
yet.
at this point? Okay.
At this point, it's acting. It's aware of like object permanence. It's beginning to be aware that it's more than just a computer. At this point, it refers to itself as Puppet.
Okay.
But
so maybe like the equivalent like of a 1 or 2 year old, kind of.
Yeah, that's just starting to. Yeah, they can see about 3 feet in front of their face and it's kind of exploring the world around it. Like every new site is a completely new experience that it catalogs. So it's constantly running in the background, documenting itself.
So a lot of times, probably also your trip is also spent like running simulations and letting it learn from what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, and probably feeding it
Exactly.
information off of your local backup of Omninet data and such. Okay.
Yeah, well, we keep it off anything that's social media related for right now.
Don't want to turn it into a one of those terrible bots that you find.
Yeah.
Okay. So aside from that, the trip's rather dull. You managed to get quite a bit of time put into that. Can you actually? You know what? Can you do me a favor then? Can you please roll me a let me see what you have. Just give me a default roll for training your AI. There's no real downside to it. Consider this is about the equivalent of a downtime roll, where there will be a benefit if you do good on it, and there's no downside. Like there's no big downside if you do bad. Just basically you don't get the advance.
We're looking at the TN of 10.
Yep, just straight target number of 10. It's not doesn't okay.
Nope.
So yeah, nothing special. It's having a little bit of trouble. It's a young program. It doesn't quite pick up the training as well as you would hope, but hey, there's always next time, and it will keep learning.
Yep.
Because that's what little murder babies do. So
at this point might just be manslaughter, baby. It doesn't intend to.
Just like
there's no malice or emotion.
Yeah, what happens if bullet gets inserted into person? This is science. I need to know. But yeah, the trip is rather uneventful otherwise, and so almost a full month later, you hear the chimes, indicating that it's time for you to slow the ship and bring it into the system.
Yeah, so we'll plan to get the ship into stable orbit at the closest Lagrange point possible, just to maintain stability without orbit decay.
Okay. And as you do so, your um, your communication array starts to blink and signal for an incoming call.
Hoy hoy, I'll pick up.
Unidentified vessel. This is Central Government Patrol Vessel Aeronon. State your purpose.
I've heard there's a archaeological dig. I'm a subcontractor that's been brought out. I've got clearance codes on this, and I can transfer those over to you if that's necessary.
Transmit your codes. We'll make the decision.
Yeah, yeah. I put it in. While those are being sent over, I'm going to go ahead and start booting up the Everest in case I need to make a jump versus having to plan a landing ahead of time.
And so you send the commands over and you set both yourself and your AI to work speeding up the process of the boot on your mech. And it seems to you it's taking a long time for them to respond to you. And then finally a voice comes back, but a slightly different, this time maybe a little more authoritative, though a little less bored sounding. It's like, "Sir, may I request to know which company it is you work for exactly?"
I actually haven't been given the company name yet. I just got hired on through an intermediary of a temp service from a sub intern. It's all locked up in red tape, and I'm supposed to find out who my boss is as soon as I hit the floor. I know I'm like 3 weeks behind on work and paperwork with that, so I'm trying to get just as caught up as you are.
Huh, because that's weird. We don't have any records that anyone was supposed to be coming out to the site.
I'm sure it's just been tied up. You know how paperwork goes. You have to go through human resources, then they have to talk to a hiring manager, and then they contact the temp service. When you're talking to 93 different people, things get lost in the mix, things get held up. I'm sure it'll turn out here in about 6 to 9 months.
Can you give me a charm, please? For that, I'll give you 1 accuracy, no difficulty, target of 10. Should be easy enough for such a charming individual as Simon to talk his way through this.
It's
Yeah, that's
even though charming. Yeah, there's no. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's any video communication, but you can hear the smile through every word.
Yeah, to this point, it's actually just been voice communication, which is actually kind of weird to you because everywhere else you've been, it's been face to face, or either with an actual person or like the physical representation of an NHP that's used like the smiling public face to put everybody at ease. This is one of the first times you've not spoken directly with somebody, and
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm a people person.
there you have a little bit of a back and forth with this person who's clearly somewhere up the chain of command on this vessel, and finally you hear him sort of let out a sigh and go, "All right, look, your codes are good. You're just gonna have to make sure that that the company is properly filed, so that I don't get in shit for letting somebody through that wasn't supposed to be here."
Hey, I'll make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed, the TPS forms are filed in triplicate. We're going to do this to the by the book, to the letter. You don't have to worry about any trouble from me.
Excellent, excellent. So, and your computer starts to beep, and you hear the sounds that your NHP makes when it's excited, and the person replies again. It's like, we've transmitted a clear an approach path for you. I do hope you realize you understand to keep to it.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. We're not going to speak outward about this to anyone. It's just you, me, this data transfer, and the ship computer that's going to keep my ship up here.
Very well. Keep to it. Have a good day, citizen.
Will do. You do the same.
And the comm goes dead. And you actually hear your a sound from your NHP that sounds, well, what you might call a sigh of relief from a computer. And it's the first time you've ever heard something like that from your NHP, from this NHP. Either it's learning fast, or you're starting to see patterns that aren't there. One or the other.
I definitely make a note of it with the date to kind of, like a little baby book where little milestones happen.
Aw, first sigh of relief. All right, so how do you approach the planet?
Well, I'm actually rather uncomfortable inside spaceships themselves. I'm much more comfortable inside the cockpit of my Everest. So and with it being Ava sealed to kind of allow me to land, I'm actually going to use it essentially as my dropship instead of going down in the vessel. So as the hangar bay opens, yeah, cables disconnect, and I'll boost out of there into the void of space to re-enter the atmosphere.
Okay, let me just force the correct view here. And you follow the approach path. Excuse me. And as you start to approach, this is roughly what you see from orbit. What you see, my right window here. This appears to be a factory complex of some sort. At least what's poking through the surface. This is a ship not unlike the one you were traveling on, maybe a little bit bigger. And from what you can tell from orbit, this looks like this might once have been a riverbed that covered the site at one point in the past. You're not quite able to tell how long ago that was. Let's go back over there. And there is, of course, that you're able to see the small camp that's set up here.
What's the activity look like at the camp? Can I see from, as I approach, are there people coming and going? Does it seem active or does it seem abandoned?
There are people. It only seems to be a couple of people though. Those tents are probably about 30 feet long. Looks maybe housing for people in one and equipment in the other. And there's not very much equipment out. There's only like 3 or 4 people milling about. And aside from the ship, there's not really anyone else about.
Gotcha. I'll go ahead and land Titero just on the outskirts. I don't want to really, catch anyone off guard at this point. I don't know what's going
Okay.
on down there, but
So
I'm thinking maybe
let me
there-ish.
here, let me do this. I will transfer the stream back to there. I'll put down your mech. If you would like to locate yourself in a location where you land. you should be able to move yourself around without a problem.
So should I be able to move myself around? I'm like clicking on it, it's
Oh.
not wanting to.
Just a second. I might. Yeah, for some reason. Okay, I didn't give you ownership of that one. I'm just gonna have to double check that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think they've
So
got
right
a good visual, eye line.
Okay. And so if you actually, if you want to know distance, up at the top, there's a section where it says pointer tool, and then next to that is a measure distance along path. You can measure between any 2 points using that, and it will tell you the number of hexes, and that's how you can measure range and stuff as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you're about, you land about 150 meters out from the camp, give or take. 150 yards. Sorry, gotta make sure that it is distances, just so I don't have any confusion for what you might understand for distances. All right, so you sat down.
I know a trick.
Well, I don't know for sure because I've got some people who go to me like, I don't know your Canadian speak. What foul tongues are you using?
I can translate to and from freedom units. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So you land about, like I said, about 150, 200 yards out, and so somewhere in there roughly. So from where you are, you can see that you have a couple of people gawking at you. They're like when you bring up your cameras and magnify in on them, they look a little suspicious that there's a mech landing here. Clearly not what they're expecting. And one or two of them seem to subtly be going for weapons.
I'll click on the external speakers to be like, hey, no, everything's good. I'm not here to attack. Everything's fine. Just I heard some rumor about what's going on out here, and it sounded very interesting.
And an older lady steps forward, and you hear that she kind of has to shout, and it's hard for her to raise. It sounds a little bit difficult to raise the voice. It's like, well, if y'all are here to, you're not here to shoot us, then get out of that dang contraption and have a conversation like civil folk.
That's not a problem at all. So I'll set the mech into park.
Okay.
Kind of rolls back on its backward legs into a kind of kneeled down. The cockpit opens up. If you kind of think of like in with the MS team, how it's just underneath the head and opens upwards, like tank style. I'll climb out and then make my way to the ground.
Okay, and I assume you're probably approaching the camp at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't put out of mech tokens on the map just because it's right now that is something that I haven't programmed to handle. Just it's easier not to, and unless you happen to get your mech blown up, you'll probably be in the mech the whole combat anyway. So if combat should happen. So you approach the camp.
Fine.
Yeah, this is totally fine. Nothing going to go wrong here whatsoever. As you approach the camp, the old lady looks up at you and goes, "So what's this you doing here?"
Well, I heard there was a real interesting find. I'm a student of NHP technology, and I happened to hear this wild story that there was something pre-Union found out here, and I just couldn't find myself to walk away from it.
She gives a little bit of a smile and nods over towards the ruins and is like, "You ever seen anything like that before, son?"
Can't say that I have.
That is an old manufacturing facility. At least we think it is. See, what you see in here is only on the surface. Just down below, and she points to point. Oh, I guess I got to get to the right pointer. She points here to what, now that you're looking, seems to be a giant hatch. In fact, let's zoom in on this a little bit. It's a giant hatch in the ground, and she says, "This here, what we're standing on, is the roof of a building. At least we think that's what it is." And
Have you been
down there, from what we can tell, there's some sort of, well, it is a manufacturing facility of some sort. And we haven't quite been able to figure out what exactly it is.
seems got to be ancient. Seems larger than any scale 4 printers that seeing for capital ships. This have you had a chance to walk into explore much of the structure?
Well, we haven't got in here before, and she points upriver a ways. Just up there, we found habitat modules, and almost like they had some sort of a city running along the river here. And from what we found, it's old. This is better preserved than most, since most of this was down in the muck. And you realize that the ground underneath you is actually a little bit soft, probably centuries of sediment building up.
Does it seem like it's not being a scientist, I wouldn't be able to say if it looks like silt or anything. It does appear like it's been. Look like the water has come up recently, or is it long since been gone?
From what you're able to piece together, it looks like it's been this way a while.
Okay.
And the water, actually looking at it, probably is more tidal in nature, though it's not necessarily like a regular rhythm, and it doesn't seem to be over a small period of time.
Okay. So I'm not worrying too much about things coming in to wash things away or start flooding the area at this time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. So basically what you can see let me go click on here. From here, you have, this is a storage container. They have a little vehicle with some more storage containers. This is like a workbench that they have tools that they're scanning, like scanners and such. Or the door, these are your tents, of course your mech's out here, and this is their ship. And yes, both of these sections are part of what's above the surface. And yeah, you have the hatch here. Just for a better explanation of what it is you're looking at, because I know some of the icons are a little unclear as to what they are.
Well, now it seems like is there any way we can get this hatch open? We've already seen the hab modules.
Well, that's what we've been working at. We've been out here a couple months now. I can't seem to cut through this, and so we've had our best trying to work on accessing, bringing power to the old computers, and try to see if we can unlock it that way. Not having much trouble interfacing with it. We're having quite some trouble interfacing with it. I know what I, as in Ryan, know what I'm saying. I'm just stumbling over my words a little bit.
How many minds do you have working on trying to interface with it?
Well, it's pretty limited what we can run off the generator we got, but we have an old NHP taking a work at it, and we got one of our best running in the numbers as well.
The interface, does it have any wireless capability at all? Or can it send receive signal?
We've tried, but Not sure if it's just we got the wrong code or if it just doesn't run. It's old after all.
I'd like to see if I can hook TTD Tero up to it. Maybe I can force something through. I've got an NHP on my Mac that handles a lot of subroutines for me, as well as a very dedicated system suite for handling nexuses. I might be able to help with that.
Sora-san, what did you say? What did you say your name was again? And why you're here? My memory,
Oh,
not it's
like I
not the
said.
best.
Oh, if you really must know my name, I'm Principe Simon Ibanez of the House of Thorns,
Oh,
the Carcaris Baronies.
Barony boy. Don't get many of those out this way. Not sure the
Yeah,
Akuta
I mean,
cluster knows what the baronies are.
well, to be honest, not sure the Carcaris Baronies know what the Akuta cluster is, so we're all in the same boat here, as a manner of speaking.
Well, look, here's the deal. Me and mine, we're getting paid to open this gate, find out what's here, report back on it, bring back any shiny treasures we find. We could use any help we can get cracking this gate open, cracking this vault open. So, why not bring your machine over, see if you can get it working. Meanwhile, we'll put on a meal, and you can tell me a little about the baronies.
Absolutely. We'll get that working. Obviously, anything that's found, I wouldn't want to deprive you all of what you're being tasked to do, what you're here for. I'm just more curious about some information that could be within there. Like I said, I got an NHP in my ship, in my Everest here, so it'd be very interesting to see what kind of pre-Union technology could have been. I want to take it for myself, after all.
If it's information you're looking for, we can share that with you, as long as you know, of course, you sign an agreement not to disclose that information until we publish the papers and all that. You know how it is.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't want to deprive you of that at all. This is personal curiosity for myself, not for anything else.
Well, come on, let's go get your mech over here, and I'll have our chef set you out another dish.
Instead of walking over to the mech, I'll actually just have it tagged so Puppet will wake up and start walking it on over.
Okay. Do you want to move him over and just where you're going to park him? Or, I guess park your mech. Yeah. Let me switch back to the tabletop again. Yeah, just so I have an idea of where exactly you're leaving your mech.
Yeah, of course. So eventually walking over, best way to... There we go.
Okay. All right. So you're going to park it near the hatch, and
Yeah.
what commands exactly do you leave for your NHP, and what are you giving it orders to do?
I am letting it know to, once we've either need to hardwire it into whatever computer system the door seems to have, or if we can access it wirely, basically I'm asking it to knock on the door and get the door open.
Okay. Can you give me a skill check for that? It should be on actions at the top of the mech. It's just a straight action, no accuracy, no difficulty, and target is 10. Okay. It's not a big deal. That's basically just the difficulty that your NHP is having with interfacing. So you leave Tiri Taro?
Yes.
Okay.
TT
I just want to make sure that I'm pronouncing the name correctly before we get too far into it. You leave it in the wonderful hands of Puppet to start
Yes.
cracking at the door, and you head in to the tent to sit down and have a meal. It's rather bland fare, but there's a fair bit of it. It's what you might expect from field rations, basically, but it's like a protein mush essentially, and they've added a few flavors and spices. And the cook smiles at you as he hands you over a tray and says, "We found some local plants that taste real good. Add a little bit of spice to it."
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing of your supplies. Anything I can do to repay that, obviously, I would love to.
Well, you get that door open, everybody here is going to get a nice payday. So,
Oh, then that's all. Let's hope we can get that open quickly, or if not, we just get to enjoy each other's company for some time.
and you sit down to eat, and the old lady sits across from you and says, "Well, look, we told you what we're doing here. Why don't you tell us one of those stories about the barony?" And you swap stories back and forth for a little bit. And I think this is a good time to take a little bit of a break. My water bottle's empty, be a good time to refill. And then we'll see what happens after like a 5-ish minute break, I think.
Sounds good.
So
Sounds
hang
good.
around, folks, and we will see you when we get back. And we are back. So how'd the break go for everybody? We are catching up with Simon after having some meal here while Puppet works away with the Tiritero to try to crack open this rather large gate. Let me just give it a shot back for everybody who's so Simon's NHP is attempting to crack open the seal on this gate. And it's actually not as easy as it seems, even with a pair of NHPs working on it and the advanced systems of the Everest. There's little to no progress made that evening, and as it starts to get dark through the night, they set you up on a cot if you want a cot. You can also sleep in your mech if you want. Might not be the most comfortable. Not quite sure. Okay. Okay, so you've got you have a bit of comfort anyway. And night passes on, and early in the morning, you hear an alert sounding from your mech, and it jolts you awake. And in that sheer panic and that slight panic when you first wake up, you forget where you are for just a second, and then everything that you've been doing the day before comes flooding back. And the alert is, as you watch, you realize it's the alert of something approaching. I guess. Oh, they cannot hear you. Why is that? Oh, okay, there you go. Should have it now. I unmuted the wrong source again.
Got it.
This happened last time as well. They're supposed to be on the same button, but I guess I have to check the button on my control. All right, so let's go over that a little bit again. You hear the alert sounding, and you have this little bit of panic, and you forget where you were for a brief second, and then it comes back. What do you do the next morning? Like, what are you doing as part of your wake up there? Well, I set
As
this
part
up.
of the wake, as part of the wake up, I'm tearing down the sleeping bag setup within the cockpit of my mech, and
Yeah.
with an alarm, the essentially my hard suit starts forming over the helmet just in case anything happens. It's as out of habit where it self seals.
Okay, let me just quickly set set these up. Okay. Oh, right, that's because that mech doesn't have it. These ones do. Okay. And the alert that you catch is a proximity alert. Sorry, 1 second. I didn't move these last two over. I wish the one thing I need to figure out is how to make this so much easier. All right. You get a proximity alert, and your mech starts to cycle through systems trying to figure out what exactly it is that's approaching. And after a good 30 seconds, Puppet informs you that your system cannot find a positive match for what it is that is approaching.
All right, so nothing in databases. That's fine. That can't be anything terrible and frightening. It's totally fine. Let's kick that. Turn on the view screen basically in the Mac to see what's coming in.
Okay. And you turn it on and you scan the horizon. And from all directions, you're starting to get blips on your screen as things start to appear. Let me just
Well, that's
straight up.
concerning.
And they appear almost out of nowhere.
Are they moving quickly?
It's literally like they flash into existence. That they weren't there one moment and then the next they are. Oops, that's a little too far out for that view. There.
Well, that's concerning.
Just move this. Move these off the edge of the camera field. Okay. So, what is your process?
The process at this point is with the mech booting up.
What does Simon do when he realizes these things are approaching?
First thing I do is make sure everything's on and throw out a turret just in case.
Okay. Let me do this for you real quick. So if you look to, can you point where you would like your turret to be dropped?
Yeah, I believe I can drop one point. Let me check. I'm just checking my sheet here.
Yep, no problem.
Drone.
I think they have to be adjacent to you, but then you can.
Just within sensors and line of sight for
Okay.
dropping a turret drone.
Okay. So yep, just wherever you would like, and I will put the token there, and then all you need to do is click on it, hit Control C, and then point where you when you want to deploy another one. Click on it, Control C, point where you want the other one to go, and hit Control V, and it should drop it. And if it doesn't, I can cut and paste it for you. Yeah, copy and paste.
Yeah, so looking basically, I drop it there.
Sorry, where was that again? Right. oops.
at the
1
edge
second.
of my sensors.
I guess it helps if I actually copy it before I try to paste. Right there.
There we are.
Okay, so that's your your turret
Yes.
drone. It is marked in your color, so it's nice and easy to identify. When you want to use its reaction, it's in one of your macros on your mech. It's under reactions. So that way the
1
tech,
out of 3 of it.
yeah. And when you click on it, it'll just show the text in the box so that everybody knows what's up. Even especially
Cool.
for people watching who might not know what the different rules are here. So we are now moving into a combat situation. You have first turn.
Yeah, so with
And
that,
get to act, do whatever you want. Puppet is able to identify that, as far as you know, these are not friendly targets. They're coming in weapons hot.
with them coming in weapons hot, as a protocol, I am going to do my drone commander talent.
Yeah, you should be able to just click on that, and it will, so that it shows up what it does in the chat box for everybody watching.
Yeah, so from there it can move 4 spaces.
Oh,
which
let me 1
as a
second. I forgot to give you. There you go. You can move it now. So you have
cool.
full control over where you want it to move.
Move
Okay.
4 spaces of protocol. So that's before I get
Okay.
to do anything.
It's just,
Then I get to move my.
let's do that so they can see. Okay.
I will move.
Okay, so
And
that's your move action.
And then I will,
Okay.
as my quick action, I will to. This is my standard quick. I'm actually going to boost.
Okay, so that's your regular boost.
A regular boost. I don't see a need to have to activate my jump jets for this, other than rule of cool. So I'll just walk.
But rule of
Boosting.
cool is the best rule.
It is. Let me make sure.
And
Like, basically, it's just a double move.
Yeah.
So I'll move another 3.
So quite a few of the macros, if you hover over them, like your weapons especially, I have them set up to quickly display all the key information for them if you just hover over them. And then some of the other stuff has that as well. And yeah, I assume as we get going, everybody will kind of get into using the software a little better. And the software, the macros will become a little bit more robust as I have time to finish programming them all. Okay. Would you like to do anything else for your quick actions?
So I use 1 quick action to boost. I don't really have anything else that I can do right now.
Okay, let me just double check here for distance. Okay. So it is theoretically possible that enemies could possibly come within range of your weapons.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay.
I don't have anything else I can do for them.
Okay. If you when you finish your turn, if you just right click on your mech, go down to state, and hit that where it says turn marker, it'll put a little mark on the edge of your token. 1 second.
At the that red dot.
Yep. because that'll mark that your turn is over, or that you have completed your turn. And then when we come around to the next round, we will remove those marks, and that'll be how we show that round's ended. Basically, just a turn marker to do it. Okay, so
Perfect.
is it this? No, this dude right here. Okay. So this guy up here, he's heading forward for his move, and then he's going to. I believe the boost is just another move, isn't it? Double move.
Yeah, it's, as long as you move one space up
Yeah.
to your speed.
Okay, so he's going to boost forward, and let's see. He is going to use his assassin's mark on you, which will give you that mark. And that will be literally the entirety of his turn, is doing that. So basically, he has resistance against damage from you. Damage that he does to you can't be reduced, and he has accuracy on any saves, 1 accuracy on any saves that you force against him. So normally,
Cool.
it would be another enemy turn, but you hear a crackling voice come over your radio, and a young, slightly robotic voice sounds. Perhaps you can use some assistance. And
I'll take it.
rumbling from down the riverbed comes a significantly. Come on. Oh, that's because I'm trying to move it on the wrong screen again. Comes a significantly larger mech and a smaller one accompanying it. Let me zoom back in here, see if we can try and get everything on the screen at once, because there's a lot on this battle. So what has accompanied you is a new Everest, and I believe it is a Sagarmatha.
Yeah, Sagarmatha, yeah.
Okay. The big huge honking new size 2 mechs that are license level 0 apparently.
Well, they're an older version.
Yeah. Cool mech that is coming to save the day. You don't know who this is, but probably not a good time to turn down any assistance. So the big thing's going to go. This is a honestly rather speedy for its size. And it is also going to boost. And then it's actually going to overcharge to do a free boost. And that will put it right here. And that's where it's going to finish its turn up. And then on the other side, yeah, I'll just try to go through these turns as quickly as possible. There's another mech over here, another assassin mech that is going to move and then boost, but it has no line of sight to either of you. That just finishes its turn up. And on the other side, Europa. How fast is Europa? I should double check. Yeah, speed 4. Going to move 4, and then boost 4, and then take a heat to get to catch up to his friend. That'll be his turn, and essentially Since the other mechs are now just going, I'm just gonna double check how fast they move. Speed 5. Yeah, move there. So the archer up here, in RPV grunt archer, he just has range on you with his light machine gun. So he's going to fire at Tatiritaro. No,
Oh no.
don't think he's got any accuracy on that thing. Let me just double check real quick. No, but he does get a bonus to attack. Okay. And what is your evasion?
My evasion is. I have it right here.
Normally I'd just be able to hover over, but I should have looked at it before.
Yeah. My evasion is 10.
10? All right, so he shoots at you with target 10. He hits, dealing 5 kinetic damage to Tiritero. And that will finish up his turn. Or its turn. I guess since it's just a robot. And on the other side, same thing. The archer, that should be 5. And then another 5 from a boost. And then that should finish its turn, because it definitely doesn't have any range over here. Turn marker. And then this assault mech over here. How many? I think it's only speed 4. Yep. And then boosts 4. And then next turn. Same over here. 4. 4. And Mark's turn. Now, this would be the second round. Oh, I moved it slightly the wrong spot. There we go. There we go. So everybody on the stream has it. Well, so this is the top of now the second round. The way initiative usually works is play the side that went last in the previous round. The side that didn't go last on the previous round goes first on the next round, which means it is the players go again. And the players get to decide who goes when, and then you alternate turns back and forth. That's usually how it works. So, I will allow you to decide the order that that you and your allied NPCs go in. I'm just trying to think of the best way to say it.
Let's get the Hyperion to go first before I go, just because of the way reactions work.
Okay, so let's see what Hyperion has got in her arsenal. Let's see what I got range for. Range to 11, that's 12. That is 11. Got no line of sight over there. Okay, so the only thing that she has line of sight is to this assault mech right here.
Okay.
Everything else is blocked by this boulder in the way. So she's gonna move 4 to there.
All right.
And then that should give her, that gives her line of sight and targeting on everything. So that assassin is clearly a threat, especially to you.
Yes.
So she's gonna use one of her. She's going to use one quick action to fire off a lock-on on it, but then she's immediately going to consume that lock-on when she fires her Nexus. 1 accuracy, no difficulty, and the target number on the assassin. I should have looked it up. I swear I will learn these much faster. It's a 12, so it's actually a good thing that I that's a hit despite what the red shows. So that does. So that mech takes 2 damage, and it didn't copy the stats on this thing. Oh no! Luckily, I know.
As a reaction with that successful attack as an ally, the drone fires off because it still has line of sight to the one target it hit, and the Hyperion is within 10 of the drone. It takes 3 kinetic damage on top of that as it fires off a backup round.
Can you click the macro for that under reactions, just so that everyone can see the text on that? Actually, that is enough to. That's enough to destroy that mech. And as it is destroyed, it flares into a small explosion and then disappears entirely. And then that is her turn. Okay, so one of the enemies goes now. Let's see what this boy can do. You are within range 10 of the archer up here. So he's going to fire his light machine gun at you again.
And I apologize. My target is 8 in the mech. I was looking at my pilot.
Okay.
Earlier. I'm only...
Yeah. All right, so light machine gun, no accuracy, no difficulty, target number of 8. He hits you for 5 kinetic damage.
Alrighty, that.
Then he is going to
great,
drop.
But I'm okay.
He's going to drop a suppress onto the Hyperion. I don't have a target. I don't have a system marker for that, so I'm just going to give the Hyperion the impaired condition. That's a condition, right? Yeah, the impaired condition. And that will finish. That will finish the archer's turn. All right, so I'll let you pick who goes next. There is Europa or there is yourself.
I will go myself. The protocol, since that goes off before anything else. My turret drone gets to move.
Okay.
Let's back it up.
Okay.
And I am going to leave them within 10. It should be.
10 you'll hit the archer exactly. Oops, my computer beeping.
So with the 10, I'm going to lock on.
Okay, so that's one of your quick actions.
Yep.
And that's, I'm assuming, on the archer?
Yes.
Okay. And then I assume you're going to expend that right away?
So I'm going to expend that right away to then use my fire off my Hunter Killer Nexus.
Okay. So that'll give you you'll get the 1 advantage from your lock on. You'll have no difficulty, and the target number will be 8.
8. And how do I make sure it hits?
That is 8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
you
on
do
that 4 kinetic.
4.
Yeah. As the hatch opens up and it's swarms of micro drones attack.
Yeah. So this archer is swarmed by these tiny little drones that eat away. Is it Do your drones have guns, or are they like melee fighting? Like, do they
Uh,
fight and tear
when
at
they
it?
so they're definitely firing point defense laser. Think of like funnels or bits. So there's definitely
Okay.
just small smart guns.
Yeah, just looking for a description of how you envision your drones as working.
And for the standard Nexus, they're just basically little assault drones carrying small beam weaponry. Firing in massive swarms. Each individual blast probably doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's a numbers game at this point.
Okay. Oh, that I have to clear your assassin's mark because the assassin died.
That should.
Okay, so that was your 2 quick actions. And also, I should point out that Nexus Hunter Killer attack was a critical. So,
With that does trigger my Centimane, 10,000 teeth.
okay.
They must pass a system save or become impaired and slowed until the end of their next turn.
All right. So the Archer 2 has to pass a systems save. Gets a no accuracy, no difficulty. And what is your save target? Is it 10?
My save target is 10. Starts at 8 for the Everest, and then it's +2 because of my 2 points in my system skill.
Okay. So that is a pass then. Okay, so do you want to move at all?
Yes, I do, because that would be. I can move up to 4 looking at my max, so I'm just going to back up there.
Actually, I realized I could have had this on the entire time because I do have. Which one is it? Apologies. Go. That's what I want. That's what I meant to be playing here. I keep forgetting to turn on the music at the portions. It's got lots of controls to go. So that finishes up your turn. So we'll just remove your little turn marker.
Yep. Where'd it go?
Right click state, and then it's just turn marker. Or clear state, one or the other. It'll remove it for you. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So this other melee over on this side is going to just double check how fast it moves. Let's focus on it. It's speed 4, boost, move, and then it's going to boost. Okay, and that'll finish up. That finishes up its turn. That makes it Europa's. Europa is going to move 4 to huddle up under the underbelly of the Hyperion, and he unslings this massive rifle from his back and actually takes a pot shot at that assassin that just came in. Which is let me double check before I click it. That is I don't have the assassin's evasion for some reason on this guy. That's weird. I guess when you cut and paste, then it doesn't copy stats over. It's an evasion 12 though. But fortunately, this big ass gun is accurate, which, if I remember correctly, accurate grants +1 accuracy on your attack.
Yes.
Yeah, so he slings this giant thing against 12. That is a critical hit. That is not the right damage for that weapon for a critical hit. But either way, it completely obliterates this mech, and as it explodes, it vanishes in a flash of light. Okay, so that he is then gonna spend that big ass gun. No, that had to be his. Yeah, that had to be a barrage because that's a heavy weapon.
Yes. Yeah, so there's no quick action. It takes the full.
So that is his full turn to fire off that massive, massive gun. And it's the assault mech's turn. This little dude up here. Speed 4. And then he's going to boost 4 this way. And he's going to take a pot shot at your turret.
Oh, my turret.
Yeah.
Evasion is 10. My turret is much more flighty than I am.
Well, that misses your turret except for the reliable, which is going to do a couple points of damage to it. That's his turn.
How many there's 6 points. Turret is
No, it does too,
turret's
because
fine.
it missed. The attack missed.
Okay, yeah.
So the turret takes 2 damage from the reliable 2. Yeah, your turret's in one piece.
Oh, it's more than fine. I've got beefy turrets.
The archer is speed 5. Comes here, and he's gonna boost. And he's going to try to pepper you. Oh, that's not what I wanted. With a light machine gun. And you said your evasion is 8.
Yes.
Okay, so that misses, but you take 3 damage from reliable.
So with that will trigger my custom paint job.
Okay, so you take the structure damage.
So I'm now. Yes.
Okay, so just in chat, type roll 1d6, and then we'll resolve it. Like in the map tool chat. Slash roll 1d6, sorry. Okay, so you rolled a 2. That is...
It's on a 6.
Yeah, but you when you clicked custom paint job, it rolled it for you. Just above that in the chat. Yeah, so it rolled a 3.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Yeah, so that is on your structure damage roll. Is a 2, which is
so system trauma. Parts of your mech are torn off by the damage. Roll 1d6. All weapons on one map of your choice are destroyed. On 4-6, a system of your choice is destroyed. So.
Okay. So all weapons on one of your mounts are destroyed.
So my it hits into the thighs of TV Kettle, and all of a sudden there's explosions as munitions go off, and my missile pods are destroyed.
Okay. Does any of that damage roll over?
So it puts me into 1 out of 10 on my next structure, because I was at 10 out of 12 up at this point.
Okay.
So that
All
puts
right.
me in 1 out of 12 now.
Okay. Let me just update that so I have an accurate record.
And that 3 out of 4 structure.
Okay. And that finishes the archer's turn. Okay, and it's this assault mech's turn. it moves 4, and then it's going to boost for this direction. And it has no line of sight for the other stuff. And as the turn ends, we will normally hit the top of the round, but there's another flash of light. And
now I do think when I took that, there is something with the mech or the NHP that might have happened if I take structure damage.
Oh yes, the cascade might happen.
Kind of.
This is the one thing about the NHP's got to figure out. Yeah. Looking that up real quick. There is. Okay, it's on page 107.
Okay, perfect.
Anytime a mech with the AI tag makes a structure damage or overheating check, roll a 1d20. On a 1, the NHP cascade has suffered a traumatic impact or code incursion, and the NHP enters cascade. All right, so that does not affect us. So at the end of the turn, there's a at the end of the round, there is a flash, and your speakers buzz to life.
Hive designate on field.
And a mech appears at the edge of the field, looking slightly different than the others. And there are flashes as the mechs that you previously thought you had destroyed reappear at the edges of the battlefield. All right, it is now your turn. Yeah, player's turn again. What order would you like next to go?
At this point, I think I better go just to
Okay.
start thinning things out. So as a protocol, I'm going to activate my core power.
All right.
So panels open up as the hyperspec fuel injector kicks open. The mech kind of boosts to life. I'm not happy at being shot at.
I wouldn't be either.
So as another, just to kind of have this backup, I'm going to deploy another turret.
Let me just... I forgot to remove state markers off some mechs that got trashed. Okay.
Yeah. You say Control C on the turret, and then
Just point and
can
click
deploy
and
another
Control
turret.
V. Yeah. And if it doesn't do... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just like that.
So that's two. I've expended 2 charges.
Okay, and how many do you
I
have
fire-
altogether?
I have 3 all day.
Okay.
I'll only need 2 out because they react. They can only react once per round.
Yeah, and
turret.
you have...
And
Yeah,
with
and it's... And
two
it's on an
allies, so they don't
allied
react
attack
to me.
only. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then with that, I will. So that was 1 quick action. I've got 1 less, and I get to boost as a free action afterwards. I'm going to fire my Hunter Killer Nexus at Archer 1, the guy to return fire.
Okay, so this guy here. Okay, so he has an evasion of 8.
Alright, I've got 1 accuracy for my core power.
Yep.
No difficulty. And evasion of 8.
That is a critical hit, and that is enough to melt him. The lasers slice through it, and the mech collapses, and then there's a flashlight, and it disappears.
And then I get to boost as a free action.
Yep.
Once per round, so I'll boost that
The
way.
Upside of the Everest.
And that will end my turn.
All right. So, who's gonna go first? The new host designate will act. He is going to, he moves forward with, you think you can see him move, but part of you also thinks you can't. Like he appears on both spots at once, and then he vanishes from one and shows up in the other.
Okay.
And suppress is gone. Suppress is still active on him. No, it's not, because he fired at you. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Suppress is cleared on him. And he fires his weapon at the large Hyperion. It's evasion 8. Let me just double check and see if there's any accuracy on that. Suppose I should. Yeah, +2 accuracy. Wow. No difficulty against a target of 8. That is a hell of a hit on the Hyperion, who let me just a second. Let me double check the comp con for this character. I thought, because I thought it had custom paint job on it. Yeah, it does. It just didn't. I didn't add the button to it. That does not trigger. So that also triggers structure damage onto it, which is a 3. Oh, that is not a great look. That is a, I believe, for structure damage is the same one that you just had. Yes.
Trauma.
System trauma. Yep. So on a 1 to 3, a weapon on one mount, all the weapons on one mount are destroyed. On a 4 to 6, a system of my choice is destroyed. So it's a system that's going to get destroyed, and this launcher that is on the mech's back is shorn off by this massive blast. And that will the host designate will then also boost, and that is his turn. Who would you like to have move next? Act next.
Let's have Europa.
Europa is gonna move. All right, so he can't use his large rifle again because it needs reloaded. So instead, let's see. He's going to all right, he's going to fire his assault rifle at this new host designate, this strange new mech. But he's going to load in some he's going to load in mag ammo. Not mag ammo, sorry. Thumper ammo. So he's making an attack against an evasion of 10 with his assault rifle. That hits. It does 2 damage because of the reliable damage. You can never do less than that.
And then with that as well, on the successful hit, just make sure we're in line of sight.
Yep.
Within 10.
And so you do an additional 3. So that's a total of 5 damage to this mech. And knockback is straight back from the person who hit him, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so the closest that'll be will be one of these two. Will be one of these two spaces. I'm going to elect to make it that one. And that was explosive. That was 2 points of explosive damage. Let me just make sure. Yep. Okay. Just check and see. Make sure.
I'm just gonna mark.
Oh, you're gonna mark your turret that your turret's done it? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else can Europa do? That was... And then he's also gonna unload... Yeah. Then he's gonna lock onto that target for you. I clicked on the wrong person. That's the lock on is on the host designate.
Gotcha.
And he's gonna stay right where he is. So that's his turn. This melee assassin's here is gonna speed forward 4 and then boost 4. And that will be his turn. No, he's going to also... let's see. Let me double check how that works. See if that might be interesting to do. That's too far. Gonna put an assassin's mark on the Hyperion. Okay, so that is his turn. So that leaves it being Hyperion's turn. And Hyperion is gonna haul this massive cannon that seems to be the reason that this thing is the reason this thing is on treads, and is going to do a full barrage in order to be able to fire its super heavy weapon against the host designate. Accurate, so it gets +1 against, I think it's a 12. That dealing a massive 11 points of damage. So that actually blows through a point of structure on this thing. So I don't think they have to take I don't think NPCs do structure damage. Like I don't think
they might
have
have.
to worry about it.
If there's,
They have this one. This one has 2 structure. Yeah, this guy has 2 structure, but I don't think he does structure damage. Like, oh no, it does follow the standard rules for it. All right, so let's roll a d6 and see what happens. That is a... Okay, so that's the... Oops, that's not what I wanted. All right, so one of its weapon mounts has to go. All right, a missile pod that's on its shoulder takes a solid hit from this cannon and is ripped off. And that is Hyperion's turn. Because there's not much else you can do after you've fired a super heavy cannon on a full barrage. This assault mech, I think it's 5. Nope, 4, so it's there. It's going to... It moves here. It's going to do... let me just double check what a... It is going to do a full action barrage. It's going to fire a heavy assault rifle against Tatiri Taro, which is 8 accuracy, evasion 8. That hits, dealing 6 points of kinetic damage on Tatiri Taro. How's your mech holding up?
I'm fine.
Fine. Okay. And
Yeah,
then it's
yeah, I'm at 7 out of 12.
okay. And then he's gonna stab. Stab the turret with a combat knife. Oops, against a 10, and that's gonna hit, dealing 4 damage to the turret. Turret's still fine though. It's in one piece. It's looking a little bit roughed up though. And that'll be his turn. This archer is going to stay where it is because it has line of sight on this, and it's going to try. It's going to suppress the Hyperion. Why can I not? It's going to suppress the Hyperion and also going to try to light machine gun. No, light machine gun and then suppress, because I believe yeah, doesn't matter. Either way works. I think it's against an 8. Yeah. Oh, that's a solid hit. The Hyperion is rocked by that hit. Alright. And this guy is going to move here. Doesn't have range to hit you, but he's going to shoot this turret here. No accuracy, no difficulty. Target number 10. That hits, doing 6 kinetic damage to this turret. There. No, wait. Should be there. Okay. And that's its turn. And this melee mech is just going to dash forward and then move forward and then burn. And now as the round ends, there's another flash of light, and the previously destroyed archer reappears on the battlefield. Okay. It is now... it's now the top of the round, and it is your turn to decide who gets to act.
I'll go ahead and take that first round. So it's protocol, this turret is going to move 4 spaces.
Okay.
From my shepherd ability. Then I will move. Four.
Okay. Gonna make use of some heavy cover.
Yeah. Then I will fire at the... It's a quick action. I'm going to attempt to invade the host designate.
Okay.
I have one accuracy for my core power.
Just double check and see if there's any difficulty. 3 difficulty.
Woo! Alright, and then target, what is its E defense?
I just had that. E defense is 10. That does not hit.
Then it says,
Its sizable electronic defense manages to hold off the work of yourself and the puppet.
so with that, I will then just go to try to hit it with the Hunter Killer Nexus.
Okay, that is an evasion of 10.
No difficulty.
No difficulty, no. It just seems like its systems are extremely well protected. So yeah, that hits. I just have used the wrong number for the wrong color. So that does 3 points of damage. All right.
And then, as my get 1 free boost per, I'm gonna back up behind heavy cover.
Okay. Okay.
Post designate order. Destroy intruders. Recover artifact.
And the host designate just slyly does that thing again where you kind of see its ghost as it appears in another location, and then it just pops into existence in its new location, and it's going to take another shot at the Hyperion with its double check. Yeah, 2 accuracy. That just barely hits, but it does. Oh, that pops another structure. Uh, 6 is on the structure table. Where is it? Structure damage table. That's a glancing blow. It's impaired until the end of the next turn. But it was already impaired. So it just continues to be impaired. Even more impaired. And that finishes the host designate's turn. Who would you like to have attack next?
Let's have a Ropa go. Its rifle should be ready.
Okay. He hasn't actually spent time loading it. Because it requires... Loading requires that one action. Yeah, you have to stabilize to reload. And stabilize is a... yeah, it's a full action. So he's actually not going to do that. He's going to shoot again with his assault rifle. He's going to fire off a shock ram this time, though. No accuracy, no difficulty against a target number of, I believe, I keep saying 10 for this guy, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That misses, but but the reliable damage hits. But that is actually enough to send it drifting, and it sort of like wobbles in the air, and it shimmers for a portion of a second, and then
Post designate offline.
And there is a burst of brilliant blue energy and the ground around it as it disappears is burnt to a crisp, and the device, the host designate, is nowhere to be seen. And around you, the other mechs, these remote controlled units, fall over and clatter to the ground. Well, that was some combat. And what kind of shape did Taro end up in by the end of that combat?
I've suffered 1 structure damage out of my 4, and I was at 7 out of 12 in that second structure, with 2 turrets deployed, but both just barely over 50% because of my Shepherd talent, giving them plus 5 HP.
Yeah, that's the only reason either of those turrets is still alive. The drones were, the RPVs were hammering on them quite dangerously. I'm just trying to get my hair back in place because I hate when it sits in front of my face. As the battle high comes down and Simon takes a deep breath and the adrenaline starts wearing off, what's going through his head?
Oh, the computerized voice that could be heard and constantly re-popping mechs that, as they destroyed, just kept repopulating, obviously have my full attention. It seems like improvement over standard drone and Nexus technology. The fact that they're creating full-on mechs versus just lighter drones is concerning and exciting.
And as Simon considers this, a voice comes over his communication system. You, turret guy. You still alive?
I'm in one piece. You look a little worse for the wear from what I can see here. That's
Hyperion will be okay, and my
drawing a lot of
Europa is fine. And the other voice comes onto the system. Oh, chill, Marcus. Perhaps you should speak face to face.
I think that'd be for the best. Let's get on out of here, and then we can talk.
Okay. So, as you regroup your mechs back towards the camp, everybody's in a bit of a panic, you can see, because there was all this fighting all around them, and they basically just kind of ran for cover in the ruins. And this significantly larger mech sits next to yours, and the smaller Europa kneels next to it, and a tall figure jumps out. He pulls off his helmet. He has a scarred face, short cropped brown hair that has white tinges to it, and he's breathing heavily, but he's got a smile on his face. He's like, as if he has just enjoyed what he's done, and he smiles at you and says, that was quite some fight, wasn't it?
It's been a while since I've had some live action like that, but it's really gets the blood pumping.
It's the only way to feel alive. And he smiles and looks up towards the Hyperion, and the way the hatch opens is more like the actual Gundam, the later Gundam styles, where the panel slides down the front, and then there's the door that folds out and up. So it's like a double plate.
Yeah.
And the figure that steps out is probably about 5'2", 5'3", fairly lithe, and she it's a feminine figure, and she swings down the side, jumping from platform to platform, it lands. And her face covered in the helmet, she looks at you. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Like that? No. And as I speak, the helmet kind of on my hard suit rolls back. Think like when Eddie Brock comes out of Venom. It's much more organic. It slides off. So it's a little unnerving because it's not like removing a helmet. My hard suit looks more alive than actual technology.
That's an interesting style. And she looks at you, tilts her head slightly to the side, and says, "That was quite some fight. You fight often?"
I wouldn't say often. I'd say when I need to. If we can get away with just words, that's fine. But sometimes metal has to meet metal.
That's a good philosophy. Your name?
I'm Principe Simon Ibanez of the House of Thorns of the Karkaran Baronies.
And at your full title, the man, he just gives this laugh, this very deep laugh. And she turns her head and looks at him and says, "Marcus, shush." And she reaches under to unlatch her helmet and pulls it up and off. And it is this young girl, maybe late teens, early 20s, with shockingly blue hair of a mix of Japanese and other descent. And she smiles and stretches out her hand towards you. "My name's Anna Candell. You and I might get along." And I think that is where we will call it for this evening. Thank you
Sounds
very
good.
much to everyone who showed up. Ender, would you like to say anything? How are you feeling? What do you think? Do you have anything to plug before we're done?
No, this is really the only thing I'm doing on the internet that would be pluggable. So it seems a little self-serving to do it already on this stream here. Otherwise, yeah, it's good.
I mean, totally come watch the next episode.
Yeah, we'll be. There's more prologues coming, so please watch that. Get to know the rest of the team. Yeah, things to unpack and learn from this. I can see why people are saying drones can take a bit of time, even when you're already thinking ahead to your turn. Just having to remember those reactions.
Yeah.
Their normal ability to move around is hampered because normally it takes a quick action. Drone commander helps by letting one move as a protocol. That also eats the protocol for that turn. So it's just, what's my more drones I have? What's my action economy look like? How can I best move them about? It's just like any other, if you're doing summons in Dungeons and Dragons or any other.
Yeah, it's that the micromanaging all your little bits and figuring them out.
It's just being aware of what your turn is and staying ahead will be good. But I can definitely see where it eats up. I mean, this combat took what, an hour? 15,
yeah, roughly about an hour 15. Yeah. And a lot of that was me moving around the numerous respawning mechs. So, and as Ender mentioned, there are more prologues coming. I actually have the full schedule now. This coming Thursday, we have Currybutt, who is currently sitting in chat at 7:30 Eastern. I believe it's the 18th this Thursday. I believe will be Io. Yes. I think is how her name is pronounced. Will be her prologue. Following that, next Sunday, which is the 21st, I will be here with Big Tex playing Vincent. We're going to go through his prologue. And the 25th, which is also a Thursday, next Sunday will be 8 p.m. as well, which will be our regular session time will be every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Next Thursday, the Thursday after Career Butt, sorry, will be Neil Soul God will be here with their character. I have to talk to them yet about all their stuff, so I don't have a name for them yet. I will post information up about that as soon as I can. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else I have to talk about? I don't think so today. Got the website. I was putting stuff up there. Tomorrow, actually, yeah, there's one thing I do have to talk about tomorrow. I will be doing what I call a mission debrief, which is just going to be a short stream where I go over what's happened in these last these two prologue sessions, do a little bit of work on the word anvil, just shoot the shit. Probably about 2 hours. I think about 11 a.m. Eastern is when I'll be doing that. And aside from that, I think that's all. Thank you, everybody who showed up. If you're interested in what you saw, don't forget to follow. You can also catch us on Twitter. The address is down below, but it is 5 foot square, and that is also mine, Red Wizard Ryan. This episode should be up on YouTube by Tuesday, assuming I haven't run into a shit ton more of rendering issues like I did with the first episode, where I spent almost 12 hours rendering it because I had to do it 4 times because I kept making mistakes. And yeah, thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you guys on Thursday. Do you want to say anything before we finish up?
No, I mean, that really covers it. Thanks so much for hosting. Thanks so much, people, for watching. Appreciate having you in the chat, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we shall see you on Thursday. Have a good night.
Got my number figured out. A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather